Ikaw, what are your thoughts about
Do I look fat?
That's a dangerous question. No, let me answer that on YouTube. Hey everyone, welcome back. Well, actually, welcome back to us. We're back finally after almost a month. No?
2 months?
Probably, yeah, close to 2 months of not creating content. Now we're back in business and we've been kind of busy setting things up, really preparing for the year, preparing the business, preparing the ministry, preparing everything. Today, actually, we want to really talk about something that was very important, very crucial for us during the holiday season, and I'm sure many families as well. And that topic is about money.
Yep, money.
And more specifically, how to really talk about money in the context of marriage. And why do we want to talk about this?
Because usually money is, it's the root of
All
conflict.
evil.
Conflict, not evil.
Sorry, sarap kasi ng Cheetos eh. Baka gusto nyo. Hindi, honestly, diba? I mean, when you talk about marriage kasi and how married couples handle money, not all couples
Talk about money.
talk about money.
Yeah.
And probably even parang sometimes you talk about money. When you talk about money in marriage.
It's like a taboo.
Exactly, that's the
to
word.
talk about.
Diba? I mean, it's a taboo.
Budgeting,
We don't really like to discuss
Yeah.
what's the budget, what's our current financial situation, are we in the red, may budget pa ba tayo, or are we going to be hungry
Kakain pa
tomorrow?
ba tayo?
Yun, di ba? Hindi natin alam, baka Cheetos na lang yung dinner natin bukas.
Social Cheetos ka.
Social, di ba? Hindi, pero I think it's important because there's two natural responses. Number one is to fight over money. And the number two response is to just keep quiet about money. And I think both are very dangerous.
Yeah.
When you fight over money, when we'll talk about that a bit later actually, na there is actually a right way to fight about money or not
Yeah, this
fight.
is the right way.
Pero when you get hostile about money, when you start blaming
one another.
Yeah, you're blaming one another about budget, about expenses, saan nanggaling to, why is it that we don't have
The
enough.
transparency between couple.
Or sometimes, I think which is more common is the flight. We keep quiet about our expenses, and we've heard this so many times amongst couples na di nila alam where each other's money go. And if you're here today and you're like that, no judgment. That's the reason why we're creating this video, is because we want to help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think this is a good topic to discuss, especially na tayo, I mean, we know a lot of close friends, even family members, na they don't talk about money in the context of marriage. Kumbaga, may kanya-kanya sila. So, might as well share, what we do, and we're just sharing para at least you know how we do it. If you wanna, copy it.
if you have your own system, style, and it works, then good. But I think what really matters at the end of the day is that you work on it together.
Yeah, and the transparency also.
Kasi, I mean,
what comes in.
I hate to be biblical about this, pero when God said the two become one flesh, diba? Obviously, I don't have Cece's skin, no? I mean, I have so many pimples. It's about living one life, eh. How does it work? Do you have to have a shared account? Do you share expenses?
Well, for us, when we started, may kanya-kanya na tayong bank accounts eh. Pero mine is konti lang. Konti laman. We strategized about it, and then we decided na there's a bank account where we get all our expenses. Tapos dyan din pumapasok yung income natin. Kumbaga, we have a joint account. And then from there, we have our own budget, like allowances, shopping budget, etc. Pero, yung expenses sa household, lahat yan kinukuha sa joint account. So, both of us can see what comes in and kung magkano yung lumalabas. Plus, kumbaga, kita namin, very transparent.
Yeah. Every single peso.
Yeah, kahit 5 pesos yan.
Yeah. Kasi there are also couples that we know who separate their money.
Yep.
And it works.
Yeah, correct.
It works for them. No, I mean, no really one size fits all. Sorry, ako lang pala yung kumakain dito. It depends on what works for you. But I think the bottom line is there are principles. There are principles about money. And I think the most important thing that we want to leave you with today is the importance of transparency when it comes to money. Why? Because
you are accountable to one another.
Right. accountability. I like that. Butterflies in your stomach. It's not just killing
Love
moments.
will not keep you alive.
Because bills are real. No.
And that's the reality.
Yeah.
Diba? Pansin nyo, if wala ng pera, usually nag-aaway yung couple. So, I think yung biggest surprise there is, paano pag wala na tayong pera? I mean, bukas wala palang income na dadating.
Yep. Or we've also heard, scenarios where one spouse is the breadwinner working abroad, for example lang, and then they would send money to the other spouse, and then they will just spend the money without sharing with them where the money goes. And then magme-message na lang na, uy, ubos na pala yung pera. And then the husband will ask, or the wife will ask, rather, sometimes even. Basta yung spouse will ask
Saan
na,
mong kinaldas
where did you spend the money? Di ko alam, backpat ko pa itatrack yun. I mean, that's where the mistrust comes in.
Yep.
And I think it's really stewardship at the end of the day. I think yun yung term. I mean, when you work in a company, you're asked to liquidate your expenses. And I'm not saying that you have to really have like a system but I think just a simple way to show na this is where the money went.
Yeah.
This is kasi at the same time I also realized then na it's also a way to maintain faithfulness in the marriage.
Yep.
When you don't know where the money is going, it just creates a space for you to lie to your spouse. Today we actually want to share just three tips for couples today about how to be more transparent with your money and how to actually have good conflict when it comes to talking about money.
First one is create parameters for conflict.
Yun. So, like I said earlier, the goal actually when it comes to money is to have conflict. It's for you to...
Parang magaway?
I mean, you want to fight, not fight with each other.
Yeah, against each other.
But fight for what's the budget? Where are we going to spend this?
Yep.
And the best way for you to make sure that you don't start blaming each other, you don't start name calling, is to create parameters for conflict. You have to have ground rules. Usually when you're talking about money as a couple, and when you're sitting down, and Kamini says, we have these moments where, we strategize. We try to be careful with the words.
In fairness naman, we do not blame each other, no?
Correct, yeah. And I think it really starts with a good intention. Na when you're talking about money, it's not to say na it's this person's fault or this expense should not have hindi nakita to, so but di mo na foresee na magiging ganito pala yung electric bill, or but ang taas ng grocery natin. Creating parameters starts with a good intention. Now our intention here is not to attack your spouse or your partner. It's to figure things out. Parameter
you are discussing so that you can make a solution.
Right. We're not here to point out problems. We're here to find the solution. Sarap ng Cheetos. We try to be as objective about our conversations as possible. Not to be emotional. Diba? Kasi it's money eh.
Well, for housewives, those that are not earning, I think yung lang dyan is the transparency. Na kasi, diba, you are the one budgeting the money, tapos the husband earns. So, I think yung mo lang dyan, yung panlaban mo dyan is be transparent kung saan nga ba pumunta yung pera. Para at least when the husband asks na, ay, paano naubos to? Ganito, ganyan. At least may papakita ka na, ito yung mga ginastos natin for the month.
Yep. You can track it different ways. There are many apps available out there. For us,
Excel sheet.
Excel sheet, or even, honestly, you can just do it in a record book.
Exactly.
And then just, take a pictures of, if you want to send it to your husband when he's in the office or if he's abroad. Basta there has to be a way for you to track the expenses. Kasi if you cannot improve what you don't track. Diba? You have to consistently track so that you'll see, laki pala ng expenses natin dito. We can move here and there.
Exactly. Like for us, in our case, we can see, the whole year. So, makikita namin which month ba yung pinakamataas yung expenses. So that by the next year, we can prepare. Like, for example, enrollment June, mataas talaga dyan. So, at least for the year before, masasabi namin, ay, June, malaki yung expenses dito. So, might as well save na for the ganito, ganyan. Para pagdating ng June, hindi ka na, kumbaga hindi na surprise.
Yeah.
Ganito pala yung bayarin.
What's the second tip?
Attack the issue, not the person.
Not the person. Because it's not about whose fault it is.
Yep.
Na, ba't ang taas ng gasoline natin kasi lakwatsa ka ng lakwatsa? Ba't ang konti ng income? Diba? but ang daming absence. No, I mean, when you attack the person, well, you already lost the battle.
Yeah.
You're
Mag-aaway na kayo eh.
you're not going to improve your financial situation that way. I mean, what do you achieve by trying to point out someone's mistake?
Blame game.
Yeah, it's a blame game that just goes cycle and cycle, and the problem will just keep coming back or even get worse.
Yeah, walang solution. Kasi yun nga, bangayan ng bangayan. So, you're not attacking the issue at all. Kumbaga, mali yung ina-atake mo. Hindi yung kawalan ng pera or yung over-expense. Ina-atake mo yung spouse mo.
Yeah. When we began kasi, I mean, we really had a lot of financial decision differences.
Super.
And for the longest time, it was like, hindi kasi ikaw sobrang kuripot. Ikaw sobrang magastos, di ba? And we realized that if we just keep on going that route, we're not going to accomplish anything. So what did we do? We started to look, instead at looking at each other's weaknesses, we looked at each other's strengths.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed right then and there, from the very beginning, Ses was very detailed. And when we first got married, I was the one managing the finances. Later on, I told Ses na I think it's better if you manage the finances because you're better at details, you're good at tracking things. Because we were in a position and we weren't attacking each other and looking at each other's strengths, it made us see where we can complement each other.
Yep.
So I think that's an important thing. So it's not.
We work it out very well. I believe very well because
so.
I mean, we will be 10 years married this year, and we had very minimal problems sa money. Ang problema namin time.
And when we did have problems with money, we worked on it together.
Exactly. We normally don't argue about money.
See,
Kasi may system na tayo.
yeah, we have a system in place. Yes, we can get passionate about the conversation. Yes, we're honest about what we want. And we fight for each other's needs as well. Doesn't mean that the person has a different culture when it comes to money. That they're wrong right away. Give them the benefit of the doubt because you're partners. You're not enemies. What's the last one?
Decide what's important and urgent.
Important and urgent. And this comes from the principle that I teach a lot about time management. No?
Yep.
Na, is it important? Is it urgent? And you've heard me talk about that, the Eisenhower matrix. We apply that with money as well. Kasi not everything that's important is urgent. And not everything that's urgent is important. I'll give you a couple of examples. Tuition, important, but if you prepare for it ahead of time, it's not urgent. As early as January, February, we already talk about, when do we start saving for this? And we do
For big expenses, we do that a lot.
Yeah, like taxes, we do the same thing. Vacations.
Yes.
But it's important. We think it's important.
Yeah, we plan ahead.
Yeah, but it's not urgent.
It's important for us.
It's important for us, diba? So, but again, urgency is different from important. And when it is urgent, then unahin muna yung urgent. Groceries. I mean, you can't just say na next week na tayo mag-grocery. Mortgage, yeah.
Due
so
date. Land bills.
Yeah, so I think the main point here is this, no, that you have to have a schedule for your expenses.
Yeah, and that's the beauty if you have a tracker. Insert ko lang again yung tracker.
Yeah.
Kasi I look at that and then you will remember talaga what's due for that month. So, cycle lang naman siya eh. So, for this month, same ba din yan for next month? So, at least you can plan ahead na, ay, eto, so sahod ko 15. So, it will cover the ganitong expenses.
Yep.
So, baga ma-foresee mo kung ano yung kailangan mong gastusan. And then, yun, makakapag-isip ka, you can strategize how you can budget the money.
We're gonna put the template for our Notion financial tracker into the description. If you wanna get that, if you wanna check it out, if you wanna apply that in your own setting, you can. Kailangan, dalawa kayong may access.
Yep.
Both of you have to see it. Kasi if only one person sees it, it will really cause a lot of friction. Those are just our 3 tips for you today. Create parameters. Attack the issue, not the person, or not your spouse or your partner. And then decide what's important and what's urgent. So with that, we hope that you learned something today and that you can apply some of those practices, those principles. And if you like this content, then you know what to do.
Like and subscribe.
And our youngest is crying, so I guess we'll call that, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.